in one piece, just like that. In today's video, I'm going to be back in electric car driving with the G63, aka the G-Wagon, and we've been taking this thing on the track for a challenge. Now the rules are, we cannot crash this thing, we cannot spin it out, and we cannot flip it. Sounds pretty simple, but we just have to see how it goes. Let me know if you guys think it's going to be able to do it or not. But let's launch this thing in 3, 2, 1, blast off. I love the front end lift, especially on the G-Wagon. The front end lift is crazy. But this is also one of my favorite SUVs as well in the game and in real life, so I'm gonna try my best not to have this thing fail the challenge, because if it does, I'm gonna be very upset. Considering the fact that it's one of my favorite, I would be very mad, especially if I fail early or late in the video. But I'm gonna try my best. Why is the first person camera so close? It's usually not this close if I'm remembering correctly. It's very close. It doesn't really affect my vision, but it seems closer than usual, but I like it. I can see exactly where I'm going or where I need to go, so I'm not too worried about it. But as the saying says, this thing has the aerodynamics of a brick. Now in reality, yes, but to me it doesn't really matter. I still like this thing, even though it does have that aerodynamics. I don't know why I love this thing, but I just love it. It's just one of those things that you look at and you can't really explain why you love it, but you know you love it. But it's handling very well for a car this size and with the aerodynamics, I'm not gonna lie. This might not be the best handling car or best SUV in the game in terms of handling, but it's definitely my favorite either way. And I'm not gonna say it's not one of them yet, because based on the way it's handling the turns pretty well. I'm not hearing any major tire screech, I'm not seeing any major oversteer, any power side, all of that stuff, which means it's doing better than like the other 3 SUVs that I've taken on the track so far. I'm hearing a little tire screech, but it's not as crazy as the other SUVs that I took on the track before, which is a good thing, because that could mean that I have to erase what I just said and this thing is going to be one of the best handling SUVs in the game. It's taking the turns very nice, and it takes them with ease. I don't have to like try to turn that hard. I just like tap and it starts turning instantly. Very good responsive steering time. That's very good. That's something that I was not seeing with other SUVs. I would have to hold down the key for it to turn. This thing is just like tap and minor adjustments and we're pretty much good. But the braking on this thing is crazy. Like the tires lock up very fast if you hold the brakes too long. As you could see there, the steering wheel had a little wobble, so we don't want to hold the brake. You just want to try to tap it to slow her down, nice and easy. Take the turn like a nice simple car, even though it's a SUV, of course. This thing is doing pretty well so far. I have confidence in this thing. I feel like it's going to be able to make it in one piece without giving me too much trouble, because the other SUVs were pretty much fighting through the turn. This thing is taking them with ease, which is a very good side. Did I say side? I meant sign. Very good sign. Which is a, well, I mean, side can also work, because it's a good side of the car. It shows that this car has some good handling. I mean, it could have a bad side, which is the bad handling, so a side could definitely work here. We're seeing the good side of the car. It has great handling, and it's pretty fast considering size and aerodynamics of this thing. We had a major lag spike there. I'm starting to realize I have like a major lag spike in almost every video that I do on this track. It's like it's just a part of the video. Like if you click my video, just expect a major lag spike at this point, because I don't know why I always get a it wasn't always at that bit. First oversteer there, but it wasn't too crazy. It was pretty controllable, to be honest. That just shows us that it has the potential to oversteer. Even though it's not doing it that crazy as the other SUVs, it still has the potential to oversteer. If you're going too fast and we're turning too hard. But so far this thing is doing well. I'm very proud of it. I'm not seeing any major challenging with this thing taking the turns. It's taking them like butter, smooth and easy. Get a little third person action here. I don't know why I went back into first person there. Yeah, as you can see, this thing took that turn without any problem. This thing has some amazing handling. It's not even like sliding through the turns. The other SUVs were straight up just like power slide and having some slip angle through the turn. It had a little there, but it's not as crazy as the other SUVs. That just shows that this thing is superior in handling. It still can do it, but it's not that constant. Like, handling is smooth, which is what I love to see. As long as we brake on time and we don't try to go too crazy into a turn, we're pretty much okay. I felt like I went super close to the rail there. Super close. Oh my gosh. Imagine if I just make a mistake and map the rail, bro. I'd be upset. I would even finish the video. I'd pretty much rage quit. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't rage quit. I don't rage quit it. I don't think I've ever rage quit a video in this specific. I don't really see a reason to rage quit a video in this specific game. I mean, it's not competitive like a fighting or action-packed game where you're like in a PvP every second of the game and every minute you're dying. That's the reason you would rage quit, especially if you're lagging or someone is hacking. I think that would be a valid reason, but driving isn't really something to like rage quit on, unless you like crash and the car can't drive anymore, but I don't think that's possible in this game. Well, I mean, it is possible. Oh, it is definitely possible. You can fly off the track. Not at this bit specifically, but there are parts on this map that you can fly off of. If you play this game, you probably know them, especially that you see when the track just came in the game and the first time I was driving, I flew off the map. It was at the beginning of the map, that brutal turn there. But I'm pretty sure the more you play the game, the more you get used to that turn and you start slowing down a lot for that turn. But that turn, the first turn on the track, messed up a lot of players. I'm not asking, I just know it, because I've seen so many players go flying off that same bit so many times, and I'm included. So I can't really say that it didn't happen to me as well. But that bit was brutal. But now that well, it depends on how long you've been playing, but I've been playing and driving on this track for a while. I got used to that turn, so I know not to try to go too fast with that turn. Because the thing that really gets you on that bit here, the first turn on the track, is that it's a full straightaway and then the turn comes in. So you've got to brake a lot more than you have to. I think that's one of the major turns you got to brake on the most, especially if you just completed a lap and you're going for the second lap and you're going like max speed into that turn. If you don't brake a lot, you're pretty much just flying off the map. There's no like in between. It's either you brake or you're dead. I think I flew off the map with the Mercedes 1. Anyone who's been an OG on my channel would probably seen that video or short where I went flying off the map. I think it was also in the long form video as well. But that was not fun, especially because it was my first time. I was not expecting that. But so far the G-Wagon is doing super well. I mean, I'm halfway through the track and I'm still not seeing any major issues with this thing taking turns. It's not understeering. It does power slide and slip for a little bit, but it's not crazy and it's not uncontrollable. It's very controllable, so I don't see any major issues with the G-Wagon. The G-Wagon is actually like an OG on this track, and I think it's because of the weight that really helps this thing take a turn. It's very responsive. It doesn't really have that much of a delay when turning, so that's a very good thing. And it's also not too sharp, because there's a perfect ground you want to look for. You want to look for something that's responsive but not too responsive at the same time, because if too responsive, then you're just gonna like turn the slightest touch or turn input you put in is just gonna turn too sharp, and that can be very bad. But then again, you don't want it to turn too slow. But the G-Wagon, it just has that perfect in between both of them to give you that smooth turning and balance, which I'm honestly surprised the way how this thing is handling, because I thought this thing was going to give me a lot more fight. It's not, well, when I say fight, I don't mean it in a bad way. I better use the word like it was going to give me a lot more challenge, but it's not really that challenging for this thing to take the turns. It's taking them with ease, and I'm pretty sure it just passed the challenge, because if we complete this bit in one piece just like that, this thing has, well, we haven't passed the finish yet. Let's not be too jumpy now, as we can still mess up here, but it's very unlikely. This turn is not brutal unless you're in a rear-wheel drive car. But I can successfully say the G-Wagon passed the challenge, and I think this is one of the best attempts I've ever had. in terms of SUVs and handling, this is definitely the number one SUV based off the ones that I've tested before. None of them come close to the way how this thing handles, and I'm not even joking. They might be faster and have quicker acceleration, but in terms of handling, the G-Wagon takes the win. No doubt about that, and I'm saying that in my opinion based on my driving experience. I'm not saying it's the best out of all of them, but in terms of my driving experience, the G-Wagon took the best SUV for now. I haven't driven every SUV in the game, so I can't say it's the best overall, but based off the 4 that I've tested so far, because the G-Wagon make it 4, I've tested the BMW X6, the Trackhawk, and the Range Rover Sport SVR, and the G-Wagon now that I'm currently in. So out of those 4, G-Wagon takes the best for handling. I think the Trackhawk has the best acceleration, then the BMW, then the Sport SVR, or it might be very close between the BMW and the Trackhawk. I'm not sure, but I know they have good acceleration. They're definitely faster than G-Wagon. But if you guys want it to handle like how you see, I'm going to show you guys setup real quick for the camber, the caster, didn't change the toe, the gear, the suspension. For I've kind of skipped over the suspension there. The stiffness, the rear stiffness, the damping, the rear damping, height offset, rear, the wheel offset, the rear. As you can see, we kind of pushed out the rear tires a lot because I don't like when they're in. I like when they're like right under or very close to the fender. They can go out a bit more, but I don't want to like overdo it. But for the gearbox, I do recommend you guys changing the gearbox, because I feel like the gearbox in the G-Wagon, like if you leave it stuck, it's very short, especially the first gear. I think it was like the top speed is like 45, 35, something around that, which was insane. I had to change it. So this is how I have it. Let me go a bit slower, but you can pause it or slow it down if you want to. This thing has 9 gears, which is also very crazy, which is why I think they had that short gear ratio. But I think this is one of the cars with the highest gears in the game, definitely one of them, because I know there's probably a few more cars with 9 gears. But for the differential, this is how I have it. I recommend you changing the final drive as well, definitely to get the top speed up a bit. The torque vector, front diff power, front diff coast, front diff preload, rear diff power, rear diff coast, rear diff preload. For the steering, this is how I have it. You can mess around with all of these settings if you want, but if you want it to handle just like how you saw in the video, I recommend you just copying everything. Well, not really copying, but like, you know, like writing down or putting them to how I have it. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you found it helpful. Peace out.